Hi, I'm Florian Trittel,
Nicole van der Velden, and I'm the strategist.
wing trimmer of the Los Gallos Spain SailGP Team. And today I'm going to be showing you
How we went from third to first
at the event final in San Francisco.
to take away the win in San Fran.
Ahead of that final in San Francisco, we normally approach the start in a different way than what we used to approach the start in the fleet race.
What can we take away from the racing before? What's changing on the racetrack? Is it the same kind of idea of what we want to do? Or do we think there's anything that has changed? And then obviously changing the mindset, especially in the starting, I would say, from an 11 boat fleet to a 3 boat fleet, and how that changes a bit in our setup or what we want to do or execute.
Essentially what we wanted to do is see what the other two teams, France and Canada, were going to do on timings on entry and adapt according to that. And that resulted in us entering the last of all 3 boats into the starting box.
I think the Spanish are lined up nicely and I wouldn't bet against them.
3, 2, 1.
At the start, we had France and Canada coming in quite a bit in front of us. We were coming a bit later than them.
And we were in a strong position throughout that sort of port approach to the end of the box. And what then happened where we in hindsight thought we could have been in a slightly stronger, or positioned us in a stronger position against the other boats, was to come slightly closer. Now they tagged, Canada and France, they tagged fairly close towards the end of the box, quite high in it, and we tagged quite far apart from the other 2 boats, no? And on the early side, so we had less distance to the line and therefore more time to kill before we could pull the trigger.
30, stay high, Nick. 39 to kill.
That kind of opened the gap for them to be able to both kind of swing below us. France got out below us first, and then Canada kind of came in quick afterwards.
The other 2 boats, they were not late, they were good on their timings, and that sort of developed into a situation where we had to sail on a very close to the wind, close hold angle to burn the time, and Canada and France, they managed to come with speed, sail behind us while we were still burning time, and finally that resulted in Canada sort of hooking us, so they got overlapped with us till leeward. France was starting clear at the pin, which was also the favorite side, the fast point. We can see that on the screen always with that little light blue cone. In hindsight, I think the start, our main mistake could have been the positioning of our first tack from port to starboard, and putting that one closer to the other boats would have been strong, which we didn't manage to pull off. But from there on, we knew at the gun, we all pulled the trigger relatively well. France was going to lead at Mark 1, Canada second, and us in third, no? So chasing that Mark 1, being on the outside and behind, we were already starting our conversations around what are we going to do at that Mark 1, no?
No problem, we got these guys, come on. Vamos. We don't need to push much. Let's get some room here and down.
We were quite set on wanting to take the bottom left rounding, so we were happy to do 2 jibes to get there. Well, 3 in the end. So at M1, we were happy to take the first turn quickly to kind of open up the decision making to where we wanted to do the other 2.
We know most likely France leading the turn, followed by Canada. They were going to go straight, and us behind them. It would have been, or it is normally quite hard, unless it's very obvious that a straight set is strong. It would have been quite hard for us to overtake them by just following them. So we decided to round that Mark 1 and go immediately for that jibe to find new breeze on the left-hand side, looking downwind.
There they go in the background. That had to be the call in third place. Now it's going to be a sprint as they all try and line up gate 2. The interesting one, Spain. I suspect they'll look for a left turn, try and split the course, but is there opportunities on the race course for an overtake, or have the French already done it?
We are in third still after the downwind. France is going to round the bottom right mark, looking downwind.
When we jibed off to starboard here, we had the Canadians coming in and they kind of jibed just in front of us, off to the right mark. We already came with the idea to go to this one, so we were quite happy for them to kind of lead that direction.
because we were seeing a great indicator on the water for this zone of the left mark, which was the tide going against the wind, and that is very strong for an upwind and not so strong for the downwind. No? And we knew we wanted to make use of that extra current pushing us against the wind, because at the end you're sailing on a carpet that moves you against the wind, whereas these other boats sailing towards the shoreline, they had less tide. You could see that on the water, no? And the tide was actually probably going with the wind there.
So at the beginning of the day, the right mark was quite favored, with quite some good pressures coming in off the land, and also the current was actually pushing in the opposite direction. So actually here you would have a way bigger stream of current against you. But yeah, there was a weird line that was kind of going from the middle of the gate kind of up through here, with current pushing up. So yeah, when we saw that change in current especially, we saw that this mark was starting to become quite good and quite favored. We had a free lane to go quite quickly and freely up until the boundary.
Canada and France were supposed to be ahead of us, and the development of that first cross on that first upwind was that all of a sudden Nicole was calling us to cross first in front of Canada and then as well in front of France.
The current was pushing us up, so actually we were heading forward and upwards compared to them. So that's when we really saw that with the current that pushed us quite a big way up, and we had made quite some big gains there.
And then we knew, okay, from there on we really have to make all efforts to try to defend that good indicator or that good leverage that you can find on that first beat upwind for the next one as well. And at the same time, first manage the situation towards the top gate.
Left turn at the bottom was huge. This race is all wide open, but the Spanish boat right now looks so fast.
With the San Francisco skyline as a backdrop, the French spin the boat around, currently in second place.
And they've got the right of way when they meet back up with the Spanish.
They have right of way, we have to give way.
We knew it was going to be tight because it was obviously not much margin, so it depended a lot on how much gain they were going to get from coming to the right side of the course where the current was pushing, and how much they would gain compared to us.
It's very hard at the same time. We are exiting both boats, no? We're coming out of maneuvers and we are in an acceleration process. And depending on how the breeze is in that moment, in intensity and in direction, boats accelerate in very different angles and manners.
Once we tack, I'm looking out of the middle of the boat and kind of communicating on how close we are with them.
I think our first intuition was going to tell us that we were not going to cross, and you can also hear that on the onboard comms.
Close was Canada.
Maybe behind Nick.
But then, as it was sort of developing and we were getting closer, we could then see, okay, let's shoot in front.
Yeah, we knew it was important to kind of push for that one. We already knew we had to have a good maneuver and go quick, and yeah, just pushing to be quick to get across them and not have a penalty on them.
Obviously, if you duck them, you're quite fast and you might be in front on the next cross. But if you try to shoot in front of them and you succeed, you're in front as well. And if you don't succeed and the right of way boat has to duck you, in that moment you would have to get 20 meters behind the boat that you have infringed to. And as it's a final race, I think you have to really push those limits.
So here it is, the situation at hand. It is Spain out in front. They will go down to the bottom of the course. They will turn, come back up, and then it'll be a left turn to the finish line. Can they hold off the Canadians?
Once we're front, it's a lot about still thinking, okay, what is the shortest course or the shortest distance or quickest distance we can do to finish the rest of the race? And then kind of factoring in, okay, what are the other boats doing? Do we want to adapt our shortest course to kind of cover them a bit more, even if we think it might not be the optimal way to sail, but just minimizing the fact that they could surprise you and get something or some pressure that you were not expecting?
We're approaching the second leeward gate on the same tack as Canada behind us. You want to reduce maneuvers, but at the same time, obviously, you want to sail towards the favorite side on the upwind. No? And in this case, with Spain leading, we knew that we wanted to go again for that left mark because we thought it was probably the most important and powerful feature in the whole race. And if we would have just gone straight towards that right mark, looking downwind, Canada, obviously by knowing what happened in the previous upwind, so they would be for sure jibing, and then we would have the split as a result, which we didn't want because Canada would be on the strong side, which was the side that we made huge gains on the previous beat. The other scenario could be that we jibe and Canada goes straight, so they have one maneuver less, but we were happy to take that because at the same time we were sailing into that tide again, no? And then we could even see Canada. They were very much aware of how strong that feature was. They followed, no? And by following, we knew that all we had to do towards the end of the race was to stay in front of them. So we tacked on the boundary. Canada, I think they managed to milk the boundary slightly better than us. And on that long run on starboard on the last upwind, they put in a high mode, which was keeping them out of our wind shadow quite well. And I think it took us a couple of seconds to identify that the whole race was about defending with Canada from this point on. And we put a really high and slow mode on to get them into our wind shadow.
Leg 5 of 6. There is Canada, there is Spain. Both of them will make a left-hand turn at this final mark, but it looks like the Spanish, Stevie, if they perform properly on this last maneuver, they've got this one in the bag.
Here, yeah, in the last approach with them, we still had to go around the mark and reach to the finish line. So they were coming in quite quickly already with their eyes on the mark. We
hadn't done a really neat job technically sailing the boat for the last couple of minutes, and that's also a big reason why they managed to come closer. I guess that's also a result of pressure.
From my side, it was keeping the communication from, okay, it's all good, we just need to focus on our own boat, we're in front, like it's fine. And just, yeah, between all of us focusing on executing this maneuver correctly and as good as possible, because in the end that's where the biggest gain or loss could be in that moment.
What we didn't want to have in this tag was a major, which could have been a fly out or something like that, no? From the moment we completed the tag onwards, we knew that everything was going to be sort of in our hands and in control, and that's the moment where towards that reach line, great emotions start to come up because you feel that you deserve that race and that win more than any others in your SailGP career, probably.
Once we were straight onto the finish line, yeah, starting to celebrate a little bit on the reach to the final.
Vamos!
We felt like we deserved it because results were showing it. We were coming in leading the fleet after the fleet racing, after the whole weekend. In SailGP, you only have to win once, and that's the last race in the final. And until then, you have to be in top 3. And we had done that a couple of times, but we had never come into a final race leading the fleet. That's why we felt that we deserved to win this in a sense, no?
It's a bit the Latin spirit as well, no? Of kind of reaction and how we celebrate. It's just such an amazing feeling when it all comes together and you see that between the 6 of us on board plus the coach, like the 7 of us, we just get into that synchronicity and everything works and you're able to execute. Having had bad moments and having had better moments, this one definitely would sum up, I would say, a growth trajectory inside the team. I think thanks to everybody who has been putting their 2 cents into making that dream, which has started all being a dream, no? Of being a team that has been part of the league for the last years now, since season 2, and managing to fight in the top and also deserve wins by sailing good Grand Prix.